Hello, here we are back again. You're on T2L TV. I'm still Rob Vingerhoets. I have been in the last 30 seconds since the last episode, but here we are, episode 10, I think it is, and we were going through the problem-solving strategies, which is part of our like this little series on differentiation, which is part of the bigger series on Maths Essentials. And last time we were at strategy number 5. So we've had to talk about make a model, grabbing the material, kids can touch the problem, draw a diagram, they can visualise it now, solving a simpler problem which might let a kid in because, now I get it. Write an equation for your mathematical logical kids. Yeah, I get this in symbols. I see how this works. I can transfer what you're saying or the problem that I've heard or that I've seen. I can get my head around that and put it into symbols and work backwards as flipping that over. So, which sometimes has more appeal to kids because they go, I want to start with the answer and how do I get there? I'm going to work backwards. And often the result it can be 0 or it can be just a way of generating answers or even the first answer. Number 6 is guess and check. I mentioned that the other day with the lollipops where somebody might have guessed 4 lime lollipops and 4 strawberry and they've worked out that it's 8. Now, already some kids coming to school and sad, they go, I'm wrong. And, you might get a bit of maths sook, as I call it, happening. I don't want maths sook from that. Like, no, you're not wrong. Like, it doesn't say get it right first time and check it. Like, it says guess. Like, have a crack. And you can guess with something like material, or you can guess with a diagram. You can guess in head. You can guess with an equation. If that is incorrect, according to the problem that you're working on, you've learned something. That's good. That's highly beneficial. So really emphasise this guess and check. It doesn't say get it right first time and check it. It just says guess. And sometimes that kid who worked out that 4 lollipops, 4 lime and 4 strawberry lollipops is 8. Yeah, actually, she or he is close. So they go, if I have 1 more lime, that's 9. I can have a strawberry, I can have another lime. You're on your way. So guess and check. But it's important the kids, you don't just sit there. Often they'll need the diagram or the model to generate the guess. So encourage them to do so. Make a table. I would say singularly the most popular strategy there is. I think it appeals to mathematical logical kids because it's all about the symbols, but it's also very appealing to visual spatial kids because you've got a table to work in. It's got boxes and it's okay, so I get an answer, I put in this box. I get another answer, I put in this box. Oh, here's what I put in this box. So I think it's sometimes just literally the layout. I'll tell you an anecdote in one of the episodes coming up, but a lot of times the kids like the idea of make a table so much they choose it and then sit there going, I actually don't know how to access the information to fill in the table. So I regularly, particularly in the lower grades, I have kids who might use make a model or draw a diagram, particularly make a model, generate an answer and then do the recording of that answer inside the table. Other kids just have the layout of the table and they're doing the maths in here. It's just lovely to watch. Just lovely to watch. So it's basically a way of writing an equation without doing the symbols. Like the kid filling in for the lollipop problem might have put a 6 for strawberry, a 4 for lime. They've done it up here and put the answer 10. Conversely, a kid might have done that in the tens frame and just said, now I can put that answer into my table. 6 lime, 4 strawberry, total 10. Very, very popular strategy, make a table. Identify a pattern. Going back to the lollipop one, I've had preps do it. They just go 10 lime, no strawberry. 9 lime, 1 strawberry. 8 lime, 2 strawberry. And they'll generate a pattern, sometimes from the outset. Other times they'll fall upon the pattern and just go, I went 5-5, now I went 6-4, now I went 7-3. And they'll draw you over and just say, look what I found. That's identify a pattern. I find it hard sometimes to give a sniff or an example of that one because you tend to give the whole lot away if you do. But I alert kids to say, kids, whatever strategy you're using today, look for a pattern, because if you identify one, you'll actually generate nearly every answer. So, but there, it's a classic identify a pattern. Act it out. Yeah, very good for the verbal linguistic kids who want to talk through a problem. I normally recommend that it's sometimes depending on your grade, I say it says act it out. It doesn't say muck about. So you've got a purpose to do with your kids. So if kids are choosing act it out, then you normally do that. That can go solo. It doesn't have to be with somebody else, but they act out the problem. I might even give an example of that later on. It might be in the lollipops version. It might be the kid who's helping the parent prepare the lolly bags, and they're just going okay, and they might have some counters and just saying, oh, here's some sort of bag or something. They're going, oh, here's 4 strawberry, here's 6 green counters. They're the lime ones, and now that lolly bag's ready, but they need to record that. So often I send off any kid or kids who are doing act it out. I send them off with paper and pencil or with their mini whiteboards that they need to do some recording, just to build in a bit of accountability. So, and often with act it out, you might have a bit of make a model. Actually, any kids who are struggling in maths, those kids where the answer to understand it is no, and I work with them on the floor, I use a combination of make a model, solve a simpler problem, and act it out. I'll actually act out the problem with them, or you might take on a role in that, do a bit of role play. But I find that combination, if I have kids who don't understand the problem, a bit of make a model with a bit of solve a simpler problem and a bit of act it out, winner. The last one that's got a little hash next to it is make a list. That's where, once again, sort of for kids who are verbal, linguistic kids, they write a list. So they write down, oh, this is what I know, that each bag has 10 lollipops in it, and there's 2 flavours, there's lime and there's strawberry. Oh, so now I have to work out. So it's their way of writing it down. But the hash is obviously, that's going to be depending on your kids, your cohort. So I wouldn't expect a lot of foundation, reception, prep kids to be doing a whole lot of make a list. I generally find that one for me is middle, upper primary and some lower secondary, sort of like that one. So it has a bit of logic about it, but for some kids, now I see what I've written down. I know what I've got to do next. So make a list often turns into, now that I understand the problem, I now can choose another strategy that suits me and helps it keep going. All right, so there's Charlie Lovett's 10 problem solving strategies. They're great. All about choice too. Thank you.